Chapter 2. Blood In and Blood Out. Antiriel, with a cautious glance at her friends, answered the call. At first, she looked like she was afraid. Her face was filled with fear from the start of the situation. Etched with worry, her face slowly relaxed into a look of relief and mild embarrassment. She chuckled softly, much to the puzzlement of the group. "It's just the food delivery guy," she explained with a small smile, sensing the collective tension in the room. "I forgot I ordered earlier." As Antiriel sits down with her food, tensions ease, and the mood lessens. "Everyone, let's get down to business. We must decide, do we turn in this ticket on Monday or wait and get a lawyer?" Mario's question set off a flurry of discussion. The room buzzed with differing opinions and emotions, each member grappling with the gravity of the decision. "How long will it take us to get a lawyer? And do we have the time to wait on one?" Jason asked. "We must be prepared for multiple outcomes once our faces surface, holding this huge lottery check." Emmanuel was the first to express dissent. "Mario, that's too much of a risk for all of us to take that picture. You were the one who bought the ticket. I think it's only fair if you are the one who takes the picture." "You must be mistaken if you think I'm the only one who will show their face," Mario says. Alex chimed in, supporting Emmanuel's view. "I agree. It should just be Mario in the photo. We don't need everyone's identity out in the open." Antiriel sided with her husband. "Mario's right. We should face this together in the public eye. We won as a group. We should claim it as a group." The debate grew heated, almost coming to blows with each member voicing their concerns and perspectives, but Mario stood firm on his stance, his voice filled with frustration and determination. Despite Antiriel's support, the rest of the group was unmoved. The consensus was firmly against Mario's proposal. After intense discussion, it was decided. They would turn in the ticket on Monday, but only Mario would be in the photograph claiming the prize. Tara suddenly suggested something that brought everyone to a halt. "We should make a blood oath, a contract of sorts. It's not that I don't trust you all, but we need more than verbal agreements here. We literally almost took each other out over a picture. We need assurance that everything will be shared fairly, and that we will not be harmful to each other." Emmanuel, rubbing his chin, considered the idea. "It's unconventional, but maybe Tara has a point. It's a way to ensure we're all committed to this together, especially with the stakes so high." Alex, looking uneasy, added, "A blood oath? That's intense, Tara, but if it gives us all peace of mind, I guess I'm in." The idea of signing a pact in blood was daunting, yet as they discussed it, the group recognized the symbolic significance of such a gesture. It wasn't just about the physical act, it was about the commitment and trust it represented. One by one, they agreed to Tara's proposal, each person understanding the gravity of what they were about to undertake. Mario, however, was visibly upset. "A blood oath? Are we really at that point?" they asked, his voice tinged with disappointment and frustration. Antiriel, sensing Mario's discomfort, gently said, "It's just a formality, a symbol of our unity. It's not about mistrust, but about making sure we're all equally bound to this decision and its consequences. Let's just get this over with and get to tomorrow." With a heavy heart, Mario watched as his friends pricked their fingers, signing their names alongside their bloodstains on a makeshift contract that Tara had prepared. The room was silent, except for the solemn promises each member made while signing. Finally, it was Mario's turn. With a deep sigh, he pricked his finger and added his bloodied signature to the pact. "For unity," he murmured. The group, exhausted from the emotionally charged discussions and the intensity of the blood pact, had fallen asleep throughout various corners of Mario's living room. In the dead of night, Ladarius rose and made his way to the bathroom, his movements careful not to disturb the others. The house was silent except for the faint clock ticking, marking the passing of the late hours. As he returned from the bathroom, he paused in the center of the room, surrounded by his sleeping friends. A chilling thought crept into his mind. He contemplated the unthinkable, killing everyone in the room, taking the lottery ticket for himself, and disappearing into the night due to his military experience. Ladarius's gaze drifted from one sleeping friend to another, his mind wrestling with this sinister plot. The idea of having all the lottery winnings to himself, free from any obligations or sharing, was momentarily enticing. However, as he stood there, lost in his dark trance, His eyes caught the red light of Mario's security camera. It was a silent, unblinking witness to the late hour, recording everything. Realizing he was being watched, Ladarius's heart jolted. The sight of the camera snapped him back to reality, the gravity of his thoughts hitting him with a wave of guilt and horror. Shaken by the darkness of his mind, Ladarius quickly retreated to his makeshift bed, lying back down. Dawn broke with the first rays of sunlight filtering through Mario's living room curtains. Still entangled in the emotional aftermath of the previous night's decisions, the group slowly began to stir from their slumber. One by one, they awakened to the new day that marked the beginning of a significant change in their lives. Emmanuel was the first to rise, his phone full of missed calls from his wife Kim, rubbing his eyes and stretching his limbs. He quietly gathered his things, his mind racing with plans and tasks he needed to address before Monday's big reveal. "I've got a lot to sort out," he murmured to Mario. Alex, yawning and stretching, followed suit. "Yeah, I should get going too. There's a lot to do and not much time." His voice carried a mix of excitement and apprehension. One after another, Ontario, Tara, Michelle, Jason, Chris, and Ladarius slowly got up, each person lost in their thoughts about the preparations and arrangements they needed to make. As each group member left Mario's house, they carried a sense of purpose and urgency. The streets outside seemed different to them now, filled with possibilities and uncertainties. They each went their separate ways, disappearing into the morning light, headed to their homes to make the necessary arrangements and set their plans in motion. As the evening turned into night, Mario suddenly found himself in the peace of his home to think about his thoughts. A quick news report on the TV says the winning lottery ticket was purchased locally as he and Ontario try to relax a bit after handling their affairs all day. Mario managed to fall asleep, but sleep was difficult because of the excitement and worry about the plans to hand in the lottery ticket in the morning. So he chooses to study the surveillance footage from the previous night. As he scrolled through the video of his friends who were silent and sleeping, he noticed a quick movement that attracted his attention. Ladarius was positioned in the middle of the living room, where he was standing. It was early in the morning, according to the present timestamp. Ladarius moved with an air of thoughtfulness, his movements long and methodical. Then, in a moment that made Mario's heart skip a beat, Ladarius paused and looked directly into the camera. His eyes were so intense and black that they were nearly penetrating, as if he were trying to convey something sinister to the camera. What is he doing? What is he thinking? Mario stared at the computer screen, shocked and confused. "Wake up! Wake up!" Mario was in a state of confusion as he was awakened by Ontario. "You were tossing and turning in your sleep. Everyone is on their way. You need to get ready. You need to get ready. You need to get ready." Still unsettled by his vivid dream, Mario prepared for the monumental day ahead. The group arrived at his house, each member carrying a mix of excitement and caution. Today was the day they would turn in their lottery ticket, a moment that would change their lives forever. Before setting off, they faced their first dilemma of the day, deciding on the car arrangement. After much debate, they agreed to use 6 cars, with Mario's vehicle in the middle for added security. This formation, they reasoned, would provide a balance of discretion and protection. In the middle car, Mario rehearsed the details of the day he bought the ticket. He remembered what he wore when he entered the store, and even the small talk he made with the cashier. These details, he knew, would be crucial during the validation process. The group was met with a flurry of official procedures upon arriving at the lottery office. Only Mario went inside as the group wished him luck. The wait felt interminable, each minute stretching longer than the last. Inside, Mario underwent an intense interrogation. The lottery officials were thorough, asking detailed questions to verify his identity and the authenticity of his claim. "What were you wearing when you purchased the ticket? Can you describe the cashier who sold you the ticket? What time of day was it when you entered the store?" The questions were relentless, testing Mario's memory and resolve. Outside, the group members paced, sat, and stood in nervous clusters, their minds racing with possible outcomes. The hours dragged on with no word from inside. The tension among them was palpable, a mix of hope and fear hanging in the air. Finally, Mario emerged from the lottery office. In his hand was a special briefcase, a symbol of their official win, containing documents and information about their prize. His expression was one of relief and exhaustion. The air was thick with a mix of relief and unspoken tension. Mario, who had just endured hours of grueling interrogation, couldn't help but feel a sense of resentment towards his friends. The burden of facing the officials alone and ensuring every detail was perfect weighed heavily on him. Mario's frustration began to surface. "Do you know what that was like in there?" he burst out, his voice tinged with anger. "While you all were out here waiting, I was grilled like a criminal." Emmanuel responded, "We know it was tough, Mario, but it must be done. It was the safest way." Safest for who? For all of you, maybe. I was in there, feeling like I was on trial, all because you didn't want to be in the spotlight. Antirial, sitting beside him, reached out to calm him, but Mario shrugged off her hand. "No, Antirial, they need to hear this. I was alone in there, defending not just myself, but all of us. And for what? So you all could stay comfortable out here and not be in the spotlight? We appreciate what you did. We're all in this together, remember?" But Mario's anger wasn't easily assuaged. Together? It didn't feel like we were together when I was interrogated for hours. Where was this togetherness then? Ladarius chimed in. "We decided as a group, Mario. It wasn't easy for us to let you go in alone." Mario's frustration boiled over. "A decision? You mean your decision? Because when I needed you all most, I was left to fend for myself." Mario, still simmering with frustration, addressed the group with a stern tone. "Now, we need to decide on a bank. Not just any bank, but one with top-notch security. And this," he said, patting the briefcase, "needs to be kept in a vault. We can't just stash it anywhere." The group, still feeling the effects of their earlier tension, agreed to use the bank recommended by the Lottery Commission. They arrived at the bank in awe, impressed by its grandeur and the level of security visible even from the outside. The building exuded wealth and safety, precisely what they needed. Once inside, Mario requested to speak with the head manager and the top accountants. The bank staff, already informed of their high-profile guests, promptly escorted the group on a facility tour. The group was visibly impressed by the bank's state-of-the-art security systems and luxurious amenities. It was clear that their winnings would be in safe hands here. However, the atmosphere shifted when the bank manager and lead accountant requested a private meeting with Mario. The rest of the group bristled at this request. "Why does it have to be just you?" Emmanuel asked, a hint of suspicion in his voice. Feeling a mix of retribution and annoyance, Mario replied in a petty tone, "It's only right. I was the only one who went through that interrogation at the lottery office alone." His words hung in the air, heavy with the reminder of their earlier decision that had left him to handle the burden alone. The group exchanged uneasy glances, the tension palpable, as Mario was led into a private room. Hours passed, and the group grew increasingly agitated, wondering what was being discussed behind closed doors. When Mario finally emerged, his expression was serious. "The money is now in a high-profile trust," he announced. "Each of you needs to open an account here to receive your share within a week." As they each took turns setting up their accounts, the reality of their new financial status began to sink in. After completing the account setups, they were led to the bank vault to secure their important briefcase. The bank manager explained the rules for accessing their special lockbox. "Everyone gets a key, but only 3 people need to be present to open it. Any 3 of you," he stated. As the group absorbed the information about the lockbox and their keys, the bank manager stepped outside, giving them a moment to discuss among themselves. The air was thick with contemplation as they considered who should be the first to lock the box. Mario, taking the initiative as he had throughout this journey, volunteered to be one of the first. "I'll go," he said, his voice steady. "It's only fitting since I've been handling most of these arrangements." As Emmanuel, with his characteristic pragmatism, stepped forward to join Mario, there was a noticeable tension in the air. "I think I should accompany you, Mario," he said, his voice reflecting the gravity of the situation. "It's critical that we oversee this together to ensure everything is done accurately." After a brief pause of contemplation, Tara volunteered herself with a sense of resolve. "I'll be part of this too. We need a diverse set of eyes on such an important task." The atmosphere grew more solemn as they approached the task at hand. However, as they were about to lock away the briefcase, Tara's sudden movement added an unexpected twist. She delved into her bag and, with a meaningful expression, produced the blood oath they had all signed. Holding the document high, she declared, "This must be kept with the ticket. It's not just a piece of paper. It embodies our agreement, our unity." A heavy silence enveloped the group as they processed Tara's words. The document, stained with their blood, was a powerful symbol of their pact, now to be locked away with their fortune. With a shared nod of acknowledgement from the group, Tara solemnly placed the blood oath in the briefcase, sealing their pact alongside the other important documents. As each group member returned home in the early morning hours, the streets were quiet, enveloped in the stillness that comes just before dawn. The day's events had exhausted them, yet their minds raced with thoughts of their new reality. A new and mysterious group chat titled "The Other Side" unexpectedly appears on the phones of 3 of the group members. The chat is unique in that it only shows up for these 3 individuals. They express their dissatisfaction and concerns about how the group's decisions were handled that day. "I know we agreed to this, but I can't shake off the feeling that we might be making a mistake," one message reads. Another chimes in, "We have to stick with it though. It's for the best, even if it doesn't feel right now." As the sun begins to rise, the chat goes silent, leaving these 3 members in a state of contemplation. The silence that followed in the chat was profound, mirroring the quiet introspection of the early morning. As the sun crept higher in the sky, its light spilling into their rooms, the 3 anonymous members sat lost in thought, their phones lying beside them. The dawn brought no clarity, only a deepening sense of uncertainty and conflict. Throughout the day, the weight of their secret conversations loomed over them. They interacted with the rest of the group as usual, but their exchanges were marked by an underlying tension, a sense of words left unsaid. The normalcy of their discussions felt strained, overshadowed by the knowledge of the discord simmering just beneath the surface. As evening approached, the group's regular activities continued, with plans being made and casual conversations unfolding. Yet, the 3 anonymous members had a persistent feeling of being on the edge of a precipice, one wrong step away from revealing the rift that had formed. Well, what an explosive chapter that was. You've just listened to another twist in the dark tale of We Hit. If your heart's racing and you're craving more, you know what to do. Smash that like button and hit subscribe. Things are about to get even bloodier, more deceitful, and thrilling. So stay with us and brace yourselves for the next chapter.